Hello there, I'm Mona Loy of Blackbright News, which can be found free of charge to read at www.issuu.com/Blackbright News. Today's topic is very controversial because it's to do with that gentleman who set a raccoon on fire. Now, the reason why I brought the Stand Your Ground law into this is because you are allowed to kill somebody if you feel threatened, and under the castle law, if your property or your livelihood is threatened, you're allowed to kill. Now, in the case of this gentleman here, this 88-year-old gentleman who's not from America, and so they probably don't hold animals with the same reverence as the British or the Americans do, felt threatened by the raccoon because he thought it had rabies if it bit him, and he also felt that he was growing mangoes, which is his livelihood, which is what he sells. The raccoon was eating all his mangoes, so he chose to kill it. He probably chose to kill it in a barbaric way, which wasn't ideal. But there again, you have to think about, you put it into context. Look how many humans were incinerated. Look how many humans had been lynched and, tortured and put under so much pain. That's humans. Now, you can either have a hierarchy of animals. You find that people will set rat traps for rats, or they put down poison for rats. Is that okay? How do you know the pain that a rat is going through when it eats the poison, or when it gets caught in a rat trap? Isn't that torture? When scientists experiment on rats and animals and all kinds of things, why aren't they being pulled up about it? And yes, you could say they are, but they still do it. So you've got the animal rights people who have now jumped on this guy and said what he's done is absolutely terrible and whatever. And I don't know if he's going to do jail time. I don't know what's going to happen. The man is 88 years old, for Christ's sake. And I'm not saying what he did was right, but we need to put it in perspective. And the same rights you give to human to defend themselves and to defend their property, that right should be given if you feel threatened by an animal. Now, supposing you're confronted with a bear or a lion or something, and the only thing you have in your hand is petrol and a match. What are you going to do? You're going to use it. It might not be the ideal way to kill an animal or to kill, to stop a threat, but you're going to do whatever you do that you feel threatened by. And so all I'm saying is that in this particular situation, there shouldn't be a hierarchy of animals. The way that people kill insects, stomp on insects and swat wasps and that kind of stuff. How do we know they don't have feelings? But we do it anyway. You see a slug, well, you probably avoid it because it's all slippery and slimy, but you get my point. So I believe we have to put this into perspective. If it was a dog, if it was a cat, if it was a horse, it would be a totally different matter, I believe. And when you think, in Islam, dogs are actually unclean and unhygienic. In India, the cow is revered. In England, cats and dogs, they're revered. They treat them better than they do humans in a lot of cases. They get clothes, they get special food, they sleep in the bed sometimes, they sleep on the sofa, they take over the house more or less. Dogs the same. You cannot touch a dog, but yet in China, a dog is a delicacy. And even though they don't eat much of it themselves, I saw a video, I don't know how true it is, but there was all these skinned dogs lined up, and they were saying that they were dogs that they were selling to restaurants to cook. So, isn't that worse? Isn't that worse? So all I'm saying is, yes, the method of killing the animal was barbaric. He could have called whoever. I don't know if they would have come for something like that. I don't know, because it's not an infestation. The man did what he felt he needed to do. Maybe he felt like burning it. It would be the easiest way to dispose of it. I don't know. But all I'm saying is put it into context. We all have... Oh, I haven't even shown you the video, have I? Let me show you the video. Oh, it's gone on quiet. Okay.
Mental abuse. A man in Central Florida accused of setting a raccoon on fire.
Yeah, he tried to explain himself as he walked out of jail. Take a listen to this.
8-year-old, first time I ever have to go to jail. I never thought about killing nobody in my lifetime. No man, no woman, no kid.
Just a Raccoon, says Ezra James, who after posting his $2,000 bond describes planning to kill the animal for eating his mangoes. And he says to prevent it from biting him and giving him rabies.
I took some gasoline on him and a match.
James says he set the raccoon on fire after catching him with a metal trap in his front yard. The 88-year-old saying the neighbors saw it and called the police. He still seems upset she did that.
She's a wicked woman.
James is originally from Jamaica and says he did not know that authorities would have humanely euthanized the raccoon. When police arrived at 10 o'clock Thursday morning, James watched an officer shoot the raccoon to put it out of its misery.
2 shots and kill the raccoon.
He may now have to explain his actions to some disturbed neighbors.
I would never believed he would have done that.
James and Nancy Gill have been neighbors for 20 years.
I sure hope he thinks about it, because God don't want us to do stuff like this.
I'm not going to catch no more because I learned my lesson.
So you won't set another raccoon on fire?
No, I don't with that.
What you really need to do is call and have somebody come and get him, not do what he did.
Yeah, so it's it is a method of, you know, how people view animals. It's got to do a lot with education, educating people about what is acceptable in certain countries and what is not. Because I'm sure in Jamaica they would not humanize a raccoon. I don't know if they've got raccoons in Jamaica, but they would not have made a fuss about it. Maybe if it was a dog or a cat, they might have done. But a raccoon, as far as they're concerned, it's similar to a rat. So that's how they would have dealt with it. Like I said, I'm not condoning his method of killing the animal. But all I'm saying is that people have done worse to human beings. And they've got away with it, and there's nothing that's been done about it. And when I'm talking about people killing people in order to protect themselves, and like I said, if you feel under threat, and he did, whether it was a valid threat, it doesn't matter. Perceived threats are just as valid in the stand your ground law or castle law. So that's all I've got to say. So yeah, I know I'm going to get a bollocking, I know. But yeah, putting it out there.